The countdown that never ended, comma. The last thing I remember before everything went wrong was the sound of fireworks echoing between the buildings of downtown Chicago. Sharp cracks in the frozen air, bright flashes reflecting off glass towers, and people laughing as if nothing bad could ever touch them. It was December 31st, 2016, New Year's Eve. I was working late, security shift at a high-rise parking structure near the river. Most people think nothing happens on nights like that. They're wrong. Nights when everyone is distracted are when the worst things slip through unnoticed. My shift started at 8 p.m. The garage was mostly empty. Office workers had gone home early, tourists were already drunk somewhere warm, and the city felt hollow beneath all the noise. I liked that. Quiet meant control. Around 10:30, my radio crackled. Dispatch said there'd been reports of a man wandering levels 4 through 6. No vehicle registered. No access badge scanned. Just walking. That wasn't unusual. Homeless people sometimes slipped in to escape the cold. Still, I grabbed my flashlight and headed up. Level 4 smelled like oil and wet concrete. My boots echoed too loudly as I walked. I called out, standard procedure. Security. Anyone here? No answer. Just the distant sound of fireworks muffled by concrete. That's when I noticed the footprints. They weren't fresh snow prints. This was a garage. They were wet. Bare footprints. No shoes. No socks. Leading deeper inside. I followed them because that's what you do when you don't yet understand how bad things can get. The prints ended near a parked sedan that hadn't moved in weeks. The windows were fogged from the inside. I knocked. No response. I shined my light through the windshield and wished immediately that I hadn't. Someone was sitting in the driver's seat. Head tilted forward. Mouth slightly open. Eyes wide and glassy. Frozen solid. I stepped back, heart pounding. People freeze to death every winter. It happens. But something felt wrong. The doors weren't locked. The keys were in the ignition. The car hadn't been running. And the man's hands, his fingernails were torn, bloody, as if he'd been scratching at something that wouldn't open. Dispatch told me to clear the area and wait for police. I agreed. I should have left. But then I heard footsteps. Bare feet. Slapping wet concrete. The footsteps weren't panicked. They were slow. Deliberate. Hello. I called again, trying to sound braver than I felt. A voice answered from the darkness. Calm. Almost cheerful. Is it time yet? My stomach dropped. I asked him what he meant. He stepped closer. He was barefoot, wearing only a thin jacket despite the cold. His skin was blue around the lips. It's almost midnight, he said. That's when it resets. I told him to sit down, that help was coming. He shook his head. No, he said. You don't understand. I already died. Before I could react, he turned and walked toward the stairwell. I followed, against every instinct I had. The stairwell door slammed shut behind him. When I pushed it open, the temperature dropped instantly. My breath fogged thick and white. The stairs were covered in frost. Ice creeping up the walls like veins. I found him standing between floors, staring at his phone. It's 11:59, he whispered. You should leave. The building shook as fireworks erupted outside. My radio went dead. No signal. No static. Nothing. The lights flickered. Then everything went silent. When the clock hit midnight, he smiled. And then he screamed. Not in pain, but in terror. Raw, animal terror. His skin began to darken, veins blackening as frost spread across him instantly. His mouth stretched wide as if something was forcing its way out. I backed away as the temperature plunged. I tried to warn you, he gasped. It comes every year. The lights went out completely. In the darkness, I heard more footsteps. Dozens of them. Bare feet. Moving upward. From below. From above. All counting. 10, 9, 8. I ran. I don't remember how many stairs I climbed. My lungs burned, legs numb. The counting echoed louder, closer, overlapping voices whispering the same numbers. When I burst back onto level 4, the garage was full. Cars I'd never seen before. People standing motionless beside them. Frozen. Eyes open. All barefoot. At 12:01, everything snapped back to normal. Noise. Fireworks. Warm air. My radio crackled back to life. Police arrived minutes later. They found one frozen body in the stairwell. Just one. No footprints. No other people. No extra cars. They told me I was in shock. I quit the next morning. But every New Year's Eve since then, at exactly 11:59 p.m., my phone lights up. A notification from an unknown number. It only ever says one thing. Is it time yet? The last party on Oak Street. Everyone on Oak Street knew about the house at the end of the block. It sat slightly crooked, as if the ground beneath it had shifted and never quite settled back. White paint peeled off in long strips, and the porch light flickered even when no one was home. But that New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2018, it was brighter than it had been in years. Cars lined both sides of the street. Music thumped through the cold night air. Laughter spilled from open windows. Someone had decided to throw a New Year's party there. I didn't want to go. I'd lived on Oak Street for 6 years, long enough to know that house had a reputation for a reason. 3 owners in 10 years. 1 disappeared. 1 died of a heart attack. 1 just left everything behind. Furniture, clothes, food in the fridge. But my girlfriend at the time, Rachel, was determined. She said it was just a party. A fresh start. New year, new memories. I wish I'd trusted my instincts instead. The moment we stepped inside, the temperature felt wrong. Not cold, just stale. Heavy. Like air that had been breathed too many times. The living room was packed wall to wall. Strangers dancing, shouting over music, spilling drinks on warped hardwood floors. Every clock in the house had been removed. No watches. No wall clocks. No microwave display. I didn't notice at first. But the house noticed me. Rachel disappeared into the crowd almost immediately. I grabbed a beer from the kitchen and tried to relax. That's when I saw the writing on the wall. Behind the refrigerator, half hidden by a crooked calendar, someone had scratched words directly into the drywall. Do not stay past midnight. The letters were deep, jagged, like they'd been carved with fingernails. I asked the guy next to me, tall, wearing a cheap party hat, if he'd seen the message. He laughed. Old house, he said. People mess around. But he wouldn't look at it for more than a second. That should have been my cue to leave. Instead, I drank another beer. By 11:30 p.m., the music changed. No one touched the speaker, but the playlist shifted on its own. Slower, lower. The bass felt wrong, too deep, like it was vibrating inside my chest rather than my ears. People stopped dancing. Conversations dulled. Laughter faded into murmurs. That's when the doors locked. Every door. Front. Back. Basement. I heard the deadbolts slide into place. Someone yelled that it wasn't funny. Someone else tried a window. It wouldn't budge. A woman near the stairs started crying. She said she lived here once. Said she'd promised herself she'd never come back. Then the lights flickered. Just once. And the house exhaled. A voice came over the speakers. Not the DJ's voice. Not recorded. It sounded like it came from inside the walls. 10 minutes, it said softly. The room went silent. Panic spread fast. Phones came out. No signal. No Wi-Fi. No service. Not even emergency calls. Someone tried to break a window with a chair. The glass bent inward like rubber and snapped back into place. At 11:55, the front door creaked open. Everyone turned. A man stood there barefoot in the snow, smiling. He walked inside slowly, leaving wet footprints on the floor. He looked around like he was counting people. New faces, he said. That's good. Rachel grabbed my arm. Her nails dug into my skin. That's him, she whispered. That's the guy who used to live here. I asked how she knew. She said, because he died here. The man clapped his hands once. Rules are simple, he said. When the countdown starts, you stay where you are. Someone rushed him. Tried to tackle him. The man didn't move. The person bounced backward like they'd hit concrete. Then the countdown began. 10. The walls started bleeding. Not red, dark, oily streaks seeping from cracks in the paint. The floor grew sticky beneath our feet. The music turned into a low hum that made teeth chatter. 5. Rachel was crying now. She begged me to promise we'd leave. 4. I tried to pull her toward the stairs. The house shifted. 3. The barefoot man's smile widened impossibly. "This house doesn't like being empty," he said. "It needs witnesses." 2. People screamed. Someone prayed. 1. The lights went out. When the lights came back on, the party was gone. No music. No people. No furniture. Just me, standing in an empty, decaying living room. Dust covered the floor. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling. Snow drifted through broken windows. And written on every wall, in hundreds of different handwriting styles, was the same message: "Thank you for staying." Police found me at 6:12 a.m., wandering barefoot down Oak Street. They said the house had been abandoned for over a decade. No power. No party permit. No noise complaints. No sign of Rachel. No missing persons report for anyone who attended. Except one. Mine. Because according to city records, I died in that house at midnight. The fireworks stopped at midnight. I used to think fireworks were beautiful. Bright explosions of color. Loud enough to drown out bad thoughts. A sign that something new was beginning. But after what happened on December 31st, 2019, I can't stand the sound anymore. I was working as a rideshare driver in Phoenix that night. New Year's Eve was always good money. Drunk passengers, surge pricing, non-stop requests. I told myself I'd quit early, be home before midnight. I didn't make it. My last pickup came in at 11:12 p.m. The app showed a location just outside the city limits. A quiet residential area near the desert. The name was blank, no profile picture, no rating, but the payout was high. I hesitated. Then I accepted. The house sat alone at the end of a dirt road. No neighbors. No streetlights. Just darkness and the sound of distant fireworks echoing across the sand. A woman stood at the curb when I arrived. Barefoot. She got into the back seat without saying a word. Her hair was tangled. Her dress was thin, completely wrong for the cold desert night. I asked for the destination. She gave me an address. I typed it in. The GPS didn't recognize it. "That's okay," she said softly. "Just drive." Something about her voice made my hands tighten on the wheel. As we drove, the city lights faded behind us. Fireworks popped on the horizon, growing fewer the farther we went. The road narrowed. Asphalt turned to cracked pavement, then dirt. I glanced in the mirror again. Her eyes were fixed on the sky. "They're early this year," she whispered. I asked what she meant. She smiled. "They usually wait until midnight." At 11:47 p.m., my phone lost signal. The GPS froze. The radio cut to static. The fireworks stopped all at once, like someone had flipped a switch. The silence was unbearable. I slowed the car, heart pounding. "This doesn't feel right," I said. "We should turn back." She leaned forward until her face was inches from my ear. "If you turn around," she said, "you'll miss it." The road ended abruptly at a massive open field. Dozens of cars were parked in perfect rows, engines off, doors wide open. No people. In the center of the field stood a tall metal structure, like a radio tower, wrapped in wires and speakers. A digital clock glowed red at the top. 11:58. My passenger opened the door. "Everyone gathers before the end," she said. "Didn't you know?" I refused to get out. I told her I was leaving. She tilted her head, confused. "But you're already here," she said. "You brought me back." Back. That word made my blood run cold. She stepped into the headlights. That's when I saw the hole in her chest. Burned edges. Perfectly round. Like she'd been struck by something traveling very fast. The clock ticked down. 11:59. The speakers crackled to life. A voice boomed across the field. Deep, mechanical, wrong. All participants present. Cars began starting on their own. Engines revving. Doors slamming shut. I tried to drive, but the tires spun uselessly in the dirt. My passenger smiled again. "You're the last one," she said. The countdown began. 10. The sky darkened unnaturally. Stars vanished. The air vibrated like pressure before an explosion. 9. People stepped out of the cars. Men, women, children, all barefoot, all with the same burned hole in their chests. 8. 7. I screamed. I begged. I prayed. 6. The woman touched my shoulder. "You'll understand soon," she said. "We all do." 5. The clock pulsed red. 4. The tower began to hum. 3. The fireworks returned. But these weren't fireworks. They came from the tower. Blinding white streaks shot into the sky, then straight back down, striking the people in the field one by one. Each impact was silent. Each body collapsed instantly. 2. My passenger stepped backward into the light. 1. Everything went white. I woke up in my car. Morning sunlight. Desert wind. No tower. No cars. No bodies. Just tire tracks circling endlessly around my vehicle. My phone buzzed. A rideshare request. Pickup time. 11:12 p.m. Date. December 31st, 2020. Passenger name. And from the back seat, a soft voice whispered, "They're waiting for you again." If these true New Year's Eve horror stories disturbed you, then you're not alone. Some people never make it past midnight. Some stories don't end when the countdown does. Before you leave, hit like to let us know you survived this night. Subscribe if you're brave enough to hear the stories others are too afraid to tell. And comment below. Midnight if you're still watching after 12 o'clock. Because the next story? It's already waiting for you. New videos every week. Don't turn away.